Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Let me mute my phone real quick because I know my phone has not stopped ringing all day and it's probably going to go off. So, yeah, let's get that under control before it goes crazy again. Hi, everyone. Happy Tuesday, I think. Is it Tuesday? It's Tuesday. Can you tell? It's one of those days. Come on in. Let's talk immigration. Let's talk latest on immigration reform, reconciliation. Uh, okay. Hi, everyone. Let's talk immigration reform. All right. I was getting the. Anyway, come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Let's talk the latest. Let me just make sure proofreading that I have all words spelled correctly because I use glasses that I just refuse to wear because it makes me feel old. But it is what it is. Hi, everyone. This is Attorney Abisola Olale. Abisola Olale Samuel, as my kids would say, Ole. Immigration lawyer based in Alabama, representing immigration clients in all 50 states. You got an immigration case. My firm handles that case. We can do represent immigration clients regardless of what state you live in. So I say that all the time because I get a question every day. But come on in. Let's talk update on immigration reform. What is the latest as far as the amnesty proposal? Where does the Congress stand? What is anticipated as far as when can we expect that anything will be done? Why should we still be hopeful about it? What are the drawbacks or the setbacks going on? All things immigration reform. So come on in. What the heck is this reconciliation bill? What does it have to do with immigrants? How does it help us? Why is that important? Let's go. Let's talk all of that. I'm gonna put you coming on. Hey, hi. Hello, Michael. Thank you. Do you see you coming on? I think I just figured out that feature. Thank you, Mr. West. I do. You show up all the time. Thank you from Houston. You are, let me just take a moment to say, I appreciate each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate the support. I appreciate coming on and sharing and subscribing and following. And it is the way I make my living. Yes. However, practicing immigration for me is beyond just making a living. I do criminal defense and family law. So, that's also what immigration is truly my passion. I eat, live, breathe immigration, helping immigrants because I have been through that process. So having the support from other immigrants or potential immigrants means a lot. So I do appreciate you, Mr. Michael, very, very much. And thank you to everyone else who's been very supportive. And if for those who haven't subscribed to YouTube channel, please do so. It's LLA Law Firm. TikTok is LLA Immigration. Instagram is also LLA Immigration. And where else am I on? And Facebook here. So like our page, follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and please subscribe to YouTube channel. So let me get right to you because I have a consultation coming up at 4 p.m. my time. Let's talk about this latest immigration reform bill. Tomorrow is September 15th. I probably will be back tomorrow or Thursday to give you an update, hopefully something positive. But if you need to contact my office regarding your immigration cases, my contact information is scrolling across the screen. Phone number here is 334-341-4475. You can also send an email to, that's my personal email, and I do respond to my email. I'm OCD-ish. There's just some things that I wouldn't let anybody else do. That's just me. So I respond to my own email. My staff has their own email, but this is my email on the screen. So if you need to contact me, if you get a response from that particular email, I'm the one responding to you. So that's my email. Phone number, once again, is 334-341-4475. So let's get right to it. Unless you've been living under the rock, immigration reform is what we are all expecting, hoping that will be that breakthrough in this administration for immigrants, right? Thank you, Mr. Michael. I appreciate you more than you know. That is what we've been waiting for, and why should we keep waiting for it? So remember back in January, or better still, last year during the campaign, a big deal, a big part of President Biden's campaign was immigration reform, right? And as soon as he was sworn in January, he actually did start putting things into place. Some of his policies that he tried to revert from the last administration, the federal courts are giving him a hard time. But one thing he wanted to achieve is the pathway to citizenship. So fast forward to last week. Right now, the big part of pathway citizenship was being able to have immigration reform as part of the budget. The reason that why that's important is this: what is going to impact the American economy is part of what the budget will be spent on. And so if it's going to benefit America as a whole, then it will be part of the budget approved by the Congress for spending. Why do you need funds for immigration reform? You cannot achieve anything without funds. In order to have, people to process applications, you have to have people to process fingerprinting. All that takes money. And in order for you to make money, you got to spend money. So the whole point of having the budget is so you can have things that you can invest in, and would also bring you would have a return on investment. That's the bottom line of all this, and why immigration is part of the budget bill. How can immigration reform, how is that going to be, how do the Democrats anticipate that it's going to help immigrants and in turn help the country? If they have the funds to be able to start this program and initiate and put in place this pathway to citizenship for almost 11 million undocumented immigrants living in the country. Truth be told, I don't care how many deportation orders they are issued each month or each year. I don't care how many people are placed in removal proceedings each year. You cannot. That is reality. I don't know how you want to tell me anyone can figure out how you're going to get 11 million people out of this country that has become home for them, not just them, but majority of millions of people already have American-born citizen children. So people are really going to fight before you kick them out. How about we just make a way to get, a way to just make people legalize, and in turn, the American economy benefits from it. So the plan is we have funds to initiate or to implement the immigration reform, right? And in turn, you have people who can become legal. They can apply for work authorization. They can be given work authorization. They can apply for, permanent residency. And when instead of people because a lot of people are working under the table, right? Under the table, so you're not reporting taxes. Those are income that the American government wants to be able to account for. And so if people are legal, they have social security number, they can work legally, they can file tax returns. Tax returns means the government is getting more money. So basically it pays for itself. That is what the government and the Democrats are trying to sell to the Congress at large, and why this week is very important. So they have passed that $3.5 trillion budget. Part of the proposal is to use about $100 billion or thereabout for immigration reform. Now, where it gets tricky is this: Democrats have to, and I'm sure everybody's heard about this reconciliation bill. I'm just trying to get the points narrowed down because there's a whole lot that's been released. There's this proposed legislation, but I think a lot of people like me, I'm the kind of person where, even being a lawyer, I have to read everything, but I want to simplify it. I always tell my kids the same thing. The way you can understand something is, you can prove that you understand something is if you can read that material and you can explain it to me in your own words. By explaining it to me in your own words, you have a better understanding. And I know there are a lot of people like me. So my point is trying to just simplify, not simplify because you can understand, but get to the point that people want to know and how it affects them at the end of the day. That's what we want to know. So why is there so much noise about what Democrats are trying to do this week? When there is a proposed bill It has to be passed. For it to be passed in Congress, it's got to have majority votes. In the Senate, where this is going to really be where it matters, the majority is 60 votes. There are 100 senators. For a bill to be passed, it has to have 60 votes. There are not 60 members of the Senate that are Democrats right now as we speak. There are, I think it's even. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's even. So at this time, the only person who can break the tie is Madam Vice President Kamala Harris. That would make it 51 to 50, right? That's the only thing that can happen. And so Democrats have to present to the Senate parliamentarian this week, who also happens to be a former immigration attorney. However, because Elizabeth is a former immigration attorney, doesn't necessarily mean she's on immigrant side all the time. If anything, history has it, and it's proven that she's actually ruled against immigration reform in the past. But she is a current Senate parliamentarian, and she has to make that deciding vote whether immigration reform will be part of the reconciliation bill. Why that matters is this: any proposed legislation that will become part of the reconciliation bill will not require majority votes. It will not require 60 members of the Senate to vote yes for it to pass. It would only require a simple majority. Simple majority means 51 over 50 or 51 over 49, 50 over 49. Simple majority. That means if that becomes part of the reconciliation bill and every Democrat in the Senate vote for it, every Republican votes against it, we already know Vice President Harris is going to vote for it. And as long as they get that simple majority, they will avoid the filibuster, and that means it will pass in the Senate. And if it can pass in the Senate, majority of the members in the House of Reps are Democrats. If that can pass in the Senate, that is a huge win. That is almost saying, okay, we just need a date where it goes into effect. I hope that makes sense. So that is a whole news and all the big deal about what happens by tomorrow. So Democrats have till tomorrow, September 15, to be able to give this complete legislation or proposal. Now, initially, when President Biden was talking about pathway to citizenship, you can tell I'm excited, because to know that there's this potential for people to get legal permanent residency, it is a big deal. So when President Biden started back in January, the whole thing was about law. There was so many proposals about, okay, initially you would get lawful prospective status, and then you go on to lawful permanent status and all that. But now the proposal, it is going to be and I put it on my Facebook page. So if you go, and the link is right there on my page, you can see the whole proposed legislation. If it's passed, now there are going to be some markups like that was said on Friday. Markups basically means amended. There's some parts that Republicans do not agree with. There's some parts that even some Democrats do not agree with. So there will be some changes. But if it stays as is, then what it means is there's no longer going to be a prospective, a lawful prospective status, which is temporary. Then you become. This is doing it with that. And the proposal is actually to have straight on application for adjustment status, application for permanent residency. So that is huge if it stays the way it is. Now, so I hope that makes sense. Why this whole point of infrastructure bill, if someone can put in a comment section, if that making some sense, I'm hoping that makes it easier to understand why the whole thing is a big deal and why it needs to be part of the reconciliation bill. If it's not part of the reconciliation bill and it has to just go as part of the proposed legislation, part of the proposed budget to be included in the budget infrastructure bill budget for what the American government will spend the $3.5 trillion for, there is no majority. That means at the very least, Democrats would have to hope that at least 10 of Republican senators will join in. Now, need I say more? Right? Now, no, there's nothing God cannot do. Miracles do happen. But I don't know what 10 Republicans are going to join in for legalizing or giving a way to legalize or to legalization for undocumented immigrants. I just don't know. I know 100 senators. I just don't know. I can pick out 10. So that's why it's a big deal. Prayers and good arguments. And hopefully this lady who is or used to be an immigration attorney who has represented immigrants and knows what it is like to be here and be, be potentially facing deportation or removal, leaving your family, dividing families. Hopefully there is some argument, but most importantly, the argument has to be mainly on how the American economy is going to benefit. There is no way you can tell me that if you legalize the status of 11 million undocumented immigrants, majority of them adults, have given them the opportunity to work, I don't see how the American economy is not going to survive, especially because of the pandemic. Imagine if a lot of people could work and become essential workers and they could come out and really be able to, accept employment legally, how much of an impact it would have on the U.S. economy. So it's a win-win for everybody at the end of the day. It's like you rub your back, I rub my back, I rub yours kind of thing. So we're hopeful that this will become, the argument will stand, and this parliamentarian lady, the Senate parliamentarian, would actually buy the argument that Democrats are making and hopefully becomes part of the reconciliation bill. If it does, all they need will be a simple majority, and hopefully we would have sometime soon exactly who will benefit. Right now, it says qualified immigrants, and they're actually breaking down into 3 for now. We have the dreamers, we have the farm workers, and we have essential workers. Let me tell you, we may not have more categories, but if you look at majority of immigrants, I can tell you, for instance, I'm Nigerian, and most Nigerians end up in the healthcare industry. Like my siblings and my mother and my sister-in-law, and yeah, everybody in my family works in the healthcare industry. They're all classified as, essential workers. I'm the only one in non-medical field. So luckily for all of them, they all have statuses. They're all citizens. But my point is, majority of people that I know, using myself as an example where I'm from, majority of people work in essential fields. I say that to say this. You may say, okay, what about family base? What about this? But instead of just looking at the family base, how about looking at what work you do? So the work you do may actually make you eligible for and being qualified as an essential worker, and then eventually be able to apply for the adjustment of status, not even a prospective status, if then stay the same the way it is. So that is that in a nutshell. So right now we're hoping, if you know how to pray, like in Nigeria we have prayer warriors, and we say, do vigils and deliverance in everything. There's nothing that gives besides watching my kids do what they do. But there are not too many things in my life that gives me greater joy than being able to help another immigrant. Because see, name the visa. I've been on it. J visa, J2 visa, HB1, name it. I've been H1, H4. I know what it feels like just to not even know when next you can go home to see your family. Do you know if you can stay here to take care of your American-born children? I get it. So there are very few things, that is one of my greatest joys, to be able to help other people and say, you know what, you don't have to worry about being sent home. You can stay here and take care of your family and live and enjoy and go visit family that you haven't seen. You have clients that haven't seen their children in years, 5-6 years, but they're undocumented. We're working on something and hoping something works out. but they can't go home because they know once they leave, they can't come back. But they are the ones financially responsible for their family members back home. So we all need to come together and pray. Republicans really, and I'll tell you one thing that can get Republicans on board or can get us 10 Republicans should it not be included in the reconciliation bill. Now, I don't like to think that way. I like her say I'm a perpetual optimist, but I'm also a realist. I like to say, okay, yes, this is what we're hoping for, but just in case. Should that not become part of reconciliation bill, Republicans, all they're asking for is some control at the border. And if you ask me, I don't think that's too much to ask. I'm all for asylum. I'm all for people arriving at the port of entry and being able to seek asylum. But if you in life, you got to compromise, right? If you've been married before, if you're still married, I used to be married, I'm divorced. I had to get out. I digress. But we all have to compromise. I do criminal defense. The state wants this. I want this for my client. We reach a compromise. So if all they're asking for is we want funds to be able to control this, and Democrats in return gain the funds to be able to pass a bill that would help millions of people, I don't see why that's not a good compromise. That's just me. That's just my opinion. But at this point, we're just going to hope that things become, Democrats can make the argument that this becomes part of the reconciliation bill. If it becomes part of the reconciliation bill, all that will be needed is just a simple majority, which Democrats actually have right now in the Senate, as long as no Democrat bails on them, right? And once it's passed, it will be passed unified by both houses of Congress, forwarded to the president for signature, or will have an effective date, and that will be it. That is what we hope for. Now, keep in mind, if you're looking through the current proposed legislation, that may change. There's a lot of proposed amendments. We don't know what the final thing will look like, but hopefully by Thursday, the 16th, something we would at least know something, because they should have been done with their argument. And the Senate parliamentarian would be able to make a decision whether she will include that in the reconciliation bill that would only need a simple majority. So that's that in a nutshell, right? That's all that there is in a nutshell. So we're hopeful, we're staying prayerful, and we're believing God. For all those who, because listen, if you go on my page, you're gonna see some crazy. There's some comments I just leave off because I can't be bothered about sad people. There's some people who are just sad, or some comments who say go back to where you're coming from. There's one who posted in one of my posts on my page and put a photo of a monkey. Those things don't bother me, because it can only bother me if I believe they're referring to me. So if I know you're making a fool of yourself, I just leave you to keep making a fool of yourself. That's just me. Now there's some that are very derogatory, and I just take off because I cannot let that. I have zero tolerance for negativity in my space. I don't. That's the way I live my life, and that's why I'm divorced. But it whatever works for each person. But I say that to say this. There's those who feel, yeah, they're here to take our jobs and they're illegal. But at the end of the day, we're all from somewhere. Unless you're American Indian, we're all from somewhere, right? So, bottom line, short version of the story. So that's that on the update, the latest on immigration reform bill. Dreamers are going to be, so right now, Dreamers would include DACA recipients. But the good thing about this proposed legislation is there's so much restrictions as far as who can benefit from DACA. Not only do you have to be a particular age when you came here, you had to be here at a particular time. I think it was 2005 or something. With the Dreamers that is going to be included in this proposed bill, it would expand that and with less restrictions. One of the things will be, as long as you've been here, I think it was, I think as long as your physical presence in the United States as of either January 2020 or 2021, don't quote me on that, I have to go reread that. and you came into the country before you turn the age, before you reach the age 18. So there's not going to be, you have to be here, way back 20 years ago, something. There's going to be more people included in the dreamers. There's going to be more people included in the farm workers. There's going to be more people included in session workers. And I think the only thing I see, which I don't think a lot of people will mind, is there's going to be payment of fines. That's the least of people's worries. I can tell you. If all you have to do is pay fines and get your green card and go see your family at home, I know a lot of people would do that. But anyway, that's that in a nutshell. Once we get another update, I will come back and do another live video and give you guys an update. Or look out, or just stay tuned on my page, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and I'll come give you the latest information as I become aware of that. I usually don't come in the same day. Like if I get information and like stay tuned to a lot of resources, I try not to, because I want to make sure I understand exactly what's going on before I pass that information across. And sometimes we may need to tweak that, or sometimes come back and edit that. But at least I like to be able to get some sense or direction where we're going, what it is, and what needs to be told. So, but once again, if you need to contact my office for your immigration cases, or if we can help you with your immigration petitions, number is 334-341-4475. You can also visit the website. I think the website is, let's see, allalawfirm.com, or send hello, Mr. Aquami. I'll send an email to aos@allalawfirm.com. Until next time, everybody. Bye-bye.